There has been an abundance of evidence collected that is being processed. This is part of what takes time. This is part of the integrity of the case. This is an isolated incident.
Stuart, tragically, 2 of those teenagers found last week were already dead when they were found, but the very first teenager that was found, the 16-year-old girl, had been rushed to the hospital and was listed in extremely critical condition, but the Marion County Sheriff confirmed this afternoon that she has now passed, and he pledged that there would be justice for these victims.
They are going to find them.
Mary?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and today we are going to look at a case out of Florida where 3 teenagers have been shot. They're all dead. They're all dead now, sadly. One was actually on life support, but sadly she has passed away. And while the initial thought that has been shared is that, like, oh my word, what if it's a serial killer? The sheriff is adamant this is not a serial killer situation. All the teens knew each other, and it's all in Marion County in Florida. We're going to do some map time. I'm going to show you an update, and we're going to look at the press conference. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed some super stickers there. Oh my word. We had some pre-show stickers. Let's see. PT Notaman, thank you so much. You got that for Fury. I was thinking of you yesterday because I actually went and bought Fury like some new toys, like a cool tunnel thing and snacks and everything. So thank you so much. That's from you, PT. I was like, this is from PT. So thank you so much. Okay. So let's look at this. I don't have a presentation. There's not that much information on this case, but there's enough to be like, wait, what? They do say, I saw on Twitter earlier that an arrest is imminent, which that is good to know. So they say Florida sheriff addresses possibility of a serial killer, which isn't. He said it isn't a serial killer situation. Clever headline they got there. Clever headline. Okay. So they say 3 Florida teens have been shot in the same area near Orlando. A 16-year-old girl who is in critical condition and 2 others were found dead. That 16-year-old girl passed away. But police are shutting down rumors that a serial killer is on the loose. Deputies with the Marion County Sheriff's Office discovered Layla Silvernail lying in a dumpster along Southeast 183rd Avenue Road near Forest Lakes Park in Ocklawaha. Did I say that correct? Okay, about 11 p.m. Thursday. So you guys are already asking, when did this happen? Last week, Thursday. And then they say the girl was rushed to a local hospital where she remains in critical condition with a bullet wound to the head, but she has since passed away, sadly. Oh, man. About 8 the next morning, police responded to Southeast. This must have been so scary. The next day, they responded to Southeast 94th Street and Southeast 188th Court, where they found the body of a 17-year-old boy on the side of the road, police said. The body of the third victim, another 16-year-old girl, was discovered at about 12:40 on Saturday in a vehicle belonging to Silvernail. So they found one girl in a dumpster with a gunshot wound to her head. She was still alive. They took her to hospital. She was in critical condition on life support and then sadly passed away. Then the next day, they found a 17-year-old boy lying on the side of the road, and he had died from a gunshot wound. And then on Saturday, they found a vehicle partly submerged in the water, and that vehicle belonged to the first victim they found. I hope that makes sense. Okay. That is so scary. They are so young. It really absolutely breaks my heart. 16 years old. 16 and 17. Okay, so the sheriff has said that he thinks that this is a wannabe gang, basically. It's wannabe gang activity, that type of. It's not a serial killer because, I mean, of course, 3 different ones, you know, in a 10-mile radius. Whew, it sounded pretty scary when I first heard of this, right? Welcome to membership. And Richard says that's so degrading, ending up in a dumpster. Yes. And a Plankton says she was not in the dumpster. She was next to the dumpster. Okay. I just see all the reports saying in the dumpster. If you're local there and you know, let me know. But okay, next to the dumpster. So they say the identities of the slain teens have not been released. They're using Marsy's law in this case. Okay. So one, Layla Silvernail was released. If you know the others' names, please don't say it because the families have said they're applying Marsy's law, which we'll look at now, and they don't want people to say their names. not now, while the investigation is active and ongoing. Okay. So they say Sheriff Billy Woods asked for the public's help in tracking down the person responsible for the shocking crimes, but also sought to reassure the community that rumors swirling about a possible serial killer are false. That is far from the truth. Now, I have the facts of what we know right now, and I can give you that assurance, so do not speculate on social media, he said in a video posted on Facebook. Someone out there knows something. Word travels fast, but we want you to have accurate information and not rumors. Limited information is available right now because this case is active, Woods said. The sheriff also said his office cannot release some information about the heinous crimes, including the families, to the families because of the legal restrictions and the ongoing probe, but he warned people not to spread misinformation. Okay. So Van's like, no naming, named. Yes. Peaches and Beans says, honestly, the gang activity reasoning is reminiscent of the satanic panic. But the thing is, I wonder, we're going to watch it together. So you say the sheriff said not in. Okay, we're going to watch it together. Let's go here. This one. Okay, so this was 1 day ago. They say Sheriff Woods addresses Forest Lakes Park homicide investigation. Last Thursday night, my office responded to the area of Forest Lakes Park on Southeast 183rd Avenue Road. When they arrived, they located a female, there we go, lying beside the road suffering from a gunshot wound. The victim was transported to the hospital in critical condition and later identified as 16-year-old Layla Silvernail. The following morning, deputies responded to Southeast 94th Street and Southeast 188th Court in reference to a 17-year-old male lying beside the road, and he was found to be deceased from a gunshot wound. On Saturday, more of my deputies responded to the area. I'll show you the map after this, okay? Of Malacca Loop and Malacca Loop Trace in reference to information that Layla's vehicle was partially submerged at the edge of a nearby body of water. Members of the MCSO Major Crimes Unit, Forensic Unit, and Underwater Recovery Team responded to collect evidence and recover the vehicle after obtaining a search warrant for Layla's vehicle. A search of a vehicle was conducted and a third victim was located. The 16-year-old female had also sustained a gunshot wound and was pronounced dead. Oh, man. My major crimes detectives are working around the clock, continuing their homicide investigation and diligently following up on every potential lead. We are devastated for the families of these 3 teens, and we are dedicated to bringing whoever is responsible for these heinous acts to justice. I know this is a rural, tight-knit community, and many of you are very concerned. Someone out there knows something. Word travels fast, but we want you to have accurate information and not rumors. Limited information is available right now because this case is active. But if you have any information that may aid us in bringing closure to the case, please call Detective Ryan Stith at 352-368-3542. And if you wish to remain anonymous, you can contact Crime Stoppers of Marion County at 352-368-STOP, which is 7867, and reference 2322 in your tip. Now, let's watch this one here together. We'll put the sound on like this. I think the sound was good on this video, so I don't think I'll...
Hello, Marion County. Last Thursday night, my office responded to the area of Forest Lakes Park. When they arrived, they located a female lying beside the road suffering from a gunshot wound. The victim was transported to the hospital in critical condition and was later identified as a 16-year-old girl, whose name I'm not going to repeat on here. Now, following morning, deputies responded to Southeast 94th Street and Southeast 188th Court, reference to a 17-year-old male lying beside the road. He was found to be deceased from a gunshot wound. Then on Saturday, more of my deputies responded to the area of Malacca Loop and Malacca Loop Trace in reference to information that led us to the victim's vehicle that was partially submerged at the edge of a nearby body of water. Now, the members of my major crimes unit, forensic unit, and underwater team responded, collected evidence, recovered the vehicle. After going through the vehicle, we found a third victim within the vehicle, 16-year-old female, who also had a gunshot wound and was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, I'm here to assure that small-knit community, the major crimes detectives are working very hard to determine who was the individual that committed this heinous crimes. Now we're looking for help. We're looking to help for the families who have lost a loved one. And there are folks out there that know. You got information. Now, one of the things I want to start with is I want to stop the rumors that are on social media. One of the rumors is that there's a fourth victim. As of right now, there is not. Nor do we have any information to indicate that we do. Unless you know something that we don't. And that means you're not helping us. If you do know more, you need to call us. Give us that information. Now, the second rumor I want to address is the idea that there is a serial killer out there. That is far from the truth. Now, I have the facts of what we know right now. And I can give you that assurance. So do not speculate on social media. Because one of the things I want each of you to think of and try to remember when you start to type is that there are family members out there reading it. And some of you, you make shit up. And it's devastating to that family. And you need to stop. But however, you can help us.
I just have to pause for a second there. He just says it just like that, huh? Some of you make shit up. Like, oh my word.
You can provide us this information. Call us. Now, there's things that we cannot tell you, can't tell the media. Some things we can't even tell the family members. One, because the law does not allow us to do it. Marsy's law. And then two, the integrity of the case itself, to ensure that we can build a solid case against this individual that committed these crimes. So, if you wish to remain anonymous in your tips, just call Crime Stoppers of Marion County at 352-368-STOP and reference 23-22 in your tip. We need your help, citizens. And that community out there, you'll be fine.
Okay, and then there was a second press conference that we're going to look at quickly now as well. I like him as well. We need more like that. I know it comes across a little bit obviously scripted and a little bit like acty, but it's so good. It's just like some of you out there just making shit up. Stop doing that, okay? We need more police people to say that. Chiefs. Okay, I just quickly want to boost this. Hold on one second. This one was from 14 hours ago. Let's put the boost on. Grizzly boost is on. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, it's like he don't play. No, he's not playing this guy. Okay, so now this was the latest update.
Had with the three teenagers. And I'll start off by saying this first disclaimer. I want to ensure that the integrity of this case is not compromised in any shape, way, or form. So when you ask a question, I may or may not answer it. So let's get that off on the table right now. And because of it just told you triple homicide, if you don't know, the third victim has passed away. And there's, I'm going to put some of these things out. First of all, the victims have all suffered fatal gunshot wounds. There has been an abundance of evidence collected that is being processed. And this is part of what takes time. This is part of the integrity of the case. From digital to forensic evidence. Sometimes it's easy to get these particular areas. Sometimes it takes time.
I'm just going to pause this for a second. We only know one of the three victims' names because Marsy's law applies, where I'll read you after this what Marsy's law exactly is, but they're not naming the victims based on Marsy's law to protect the families, the victims, everything. So we'll read that so that we understand exactly what it is together. I've got it for us. I just first want to show you this. Sorry to pause him on this face. It's a good snarky face. We're just first watching this together. I've given you a quick overview of the case. We're looking at this and then we'll look at Marsy's law. But I did see on Twitter earlier that they said an arrest is imminent. They've got multiple suspects that he's going to say in this press conference here, which sounds really great, like positive. They are finding, they've interviewed lots of people and they've got multiple suspects, even though they say they're looking for an individual. An arrest is imminent. So that sounds positive to me. And Cherry earlier said the family donated her organs. So for Layla, who was found with a gunshot wound to the head but had survived initially and was in critical condition on life support, she passed away and her family has donated her organs. Shame.
We're having to piece these together. I have 15 detectives working on this case right now. They have been working tirelessly since we received the call initially. One of the things I do want to address, hopefully, I'm pretty sure you're going to ask this question. This is an isolated incident. It is not, and there is nothing to indicate that it is a serial killer whatsoever. All of our victims are known or were known to know each other and were together leading up to the incident itself. Now, some of the information, and I need to throw this out there because you've got viewers that do not live in the state of Florida and even Floridians do not even know what Marsy's law is. Now, the families of the victims, especially in cases like this with juveniles or teenagers, is they invoke the Marsy's law, which restricts us, and I have to comply with the law of what information can be given out on the victims. Having said that, I'll open it up to questions.
Sheriff, that third, the victim at the lake, Maluka Luke, was she in the passenger seat? Where was she in the car?
Can't give you that information. She was in the vehicle, I'll tell you that. But exactly locating in the vehicle, no. Again, I'm going to reiterate integrity of the case because you want to ensure that you don't tip any suspect's hands of what you know. Okay? So this is the type of information that does get out. It could compromise a case. And we want to ensure that when the case is being done, we do everything we can to ensure that, one, we put the pieces of the puzzle together. Two, we collect all of the information so that it will be admissible in a court of law so that these individuals can be held accountable.
Can you talk about the relationship between the three teenagers? Were they friends? Do you know anything about that?
As far as all the information we have, yes, they are friends. Okay. And the other thing that I'll hit on real quickly is that the detectives also have information that it's possibly tied to what we classify as hybrid gangs. Okay?
That's what I'm sorry.
What?
Hybrid gangs.
What is that?
A wannabe gang. You want me to, I'll use a little more plain English for everybody. A wannabe gangs is what they are.
So a hybrid gang, a wannabe gang. So maybe it's like really young people, doing some sort of, I don't know what, initiation or being dared to, I don't know. But it just is extremely sad that 3 teenagers, 2 16-year-old girls and 1 17-year-old boy have lost their lives. They are so young. I mean, and the way they were left and everything as well. We'll do map time right after this. Well, actually, right after this, we're going to look at Marsy's law. Then we'll do map time, okay?
Yes, sir.
Sheriff, you had, it's my first day into this, even though I know you've been working on it for several days, so just for my clarity. At one point, you did interview a person of interest, correct? And that person was then told they could leave. Is that person still considered a person of interest by your agency?
All of the individuals that we have been given tips on are persons of interest.
Can you give us a ballpark, whether that's 5 or 50?
No. I can tell you it's more than one.
Do we know?
Can you see if you have any suspects at this time?
We have multiple suspects.
Do we
Yes,
know
ma'am.
what the victims were doing leading up to this?
Not going to answer that one.
All 3 teenagers were shot, and I know this is probably something that it goes down into the facts of the case, but I'm curious, have you been able to determine whether they were all shot with the same weapon?
That has to do with forensics, and we have not got that back yet.
Have you made sense of why they were found in different locations?
Not going to answer that one.
So do you believe all 3 of them were targeted potentially by the same person or another wannabe gang how you put it.
We're not ruling out anything. Okay.
So it could have been some sort of, albeit in and out of what you would consider to be a formalized or recognized gang. Could this have been some sort of turf situation where people say, this is my neighborhood?
Everything's a possibility.
And to clarify, were these three victims in wannabe gangs or were they targeted by people that were in gangs?
That information I don't have right now.
I'm just gonna pause for a second here. Chloe says, "Do you look up Sheriff Grady also in Florida? You'll love his bold, no holds attitude." Also, I do. I watch Sheriff Grady quite a lot. I really like him as well. I like these like snarky boss guys who just, I don't know. I really like it. I think we need more like that, right?
Sheriff, do you believe there could be other victims right now? Are you looking for anyone else?
No, we are not looking for anyone else at this time. There is no information or no evidence to indicate that we have a fourth victim out there. And that was one of the other rumors that was put out there on social media. No. And this is to them. I already did one social media post. You don't know what occurred. And if you do, that means you're not coming and talking to us. And you need to.
You see how he says it? He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Firstly, and he doesn't just say all these armchair detectives. He's like, listen, you don't know. And if you know, you better be talking to us. Right?
Because we need to solve this and put the dots or put the pieces of the puzzle together so that we can put the individuals that committed the crime behind bars. It's as simple as that. All these speculations, everybody going out there and saying this is what happened, that they don't know. Okay, we do. And obviously I can't tell you everything. And I'm not going to tell you everything.
So, and again, we're all trying, I guess, to try to figure out exactly what the timeline is and what it all means, your investigators and us included. I know you found someone late Thursday, someone early Friday, and someone midday Saturday. Have you been able to conclude, have your investigators been able to conclude whether they were found in the order in which they were killed, or is that still to be determined?
We're going to look at the map. They will look at that. Devil's advocate. Did these kids all attend the same school? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. It was the Weir High School. We're going to look at that on the map.
That's still to be determined. Okay.
Did they all die where they were found?
Well, obviously the first one, no, because she died in the hospital.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, so were they shot where they were found, in your opinion?
That I can't give. Can't give that information.
Were they all students at Lake Weir High School?
Lake Weir High School.
No, we're not.
I read online that they were. So I mean, he's saying no. I read from people that know them on Facebook, which is kind of what he's saying. No. If you don't know, but on Facebook, they have since said people that know them. If you're in the chat and you're local and you know, let me know. But they said they all went to the same high school. So.
Can you tell us, I know the other two of the victims requested Marsy's law with their families, but can you learn more about who these kids are? We know one was a softball player, who were the others? What were they known for? What did they do? Were they from the area?
I don't have that information, so I can't tell you. I don't know. I wish I could.
Sheriff, so you still have suspects outstanding, multiple suspects, you're saying, multiple persons of interest, multiple suspects. For the people who live around Ocklawaha, Lake Weir, that area, who are parents of teenagers, how worried should they be?
I'm a father. I got 2 boys. Now, my wife and I are empty nesters now. I worried about my boys the day they were born, every single day. Okay? And here's the thing, and I was going to reserve this because one of a media outlet out there is hounding myself and Chief Balkan because we put on our social media juveniles who commit crimes. Okay? You know why we do that? Because as a parent, I'd like to know who my kids hang out with. I like to know who they're associated with. And if they're known criminals, well, my boys would have got their little tails tore up if they hung out with them on a regular basis. That's why we do it, to ensure that everybody knows who's in the community, knows the activity they have. Because if you got juveniles that commit this type of a crime, my sons wouldn't be hanging with them. I can tell you that. Now, as for
Yes, dad vibes, as you guys are saying. Strong dad vibes. Good dad vibes. Dana, thank you so much. You said thank you for covering the sheet. Thank you very much. And Pernil, I will work on that. I will work on that to include that in our members only snarky intro.
Fear? No. As long as they pay attention to what their kids are doing. And part of the problem, and I want to think it, I want to hit on this right now. You know what the problem in this scenario is? 90% of the time, it's called parental problem. Problem goes back to home. Because I know the question's coming, and I'm going to go ahead and head it off. Has zero to do with the gun. Zero. Okay? Gun did not commit the crime. It's a human being that did. And we're failing at home. That's the problem.
Is that an indication, Sheriff, that most of your suspects are probably in the teenage realm?
No, that's not what I'm implying. Not at all.
Do you believe that the suspects, or possible suspects, knew the victims, all of the victims?
Say that one more time, I'm
Do you
sorry.
believe that the suspect knew the victims that were killed, or was this some sort of in the moment situation?
I don't have all that information right now. Okay?
But of the public safety in that area, in your mind, is still secure, that people should be able to do their daily business, you know,
Absolutely.
extracurricular activities and all that kind of stuff,
Absolutely.
without an enormous fear.
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
Do you believe that?
She ain't asked a question yet.
Do you believe that the victims were previously involved in some trouble before their passing?
Trouble before. I can't answer that for all of it because I don't have all the information at the moment. So I can't answer your question.
Well, that's very blunt, very honest. No, can't answer that. Don't know if they were in trouble before or not or what. But at the end of the day, a human being committed this crime. So not to blame anyone or anything is like, oh, okay, problem start at home. I really like this guy. Yes. So Abigail says, love, love, love. He calls it as it is and doesn't cater to feelings. We need more cops like this. Right. Thank you so much, Donnie, Lynn. Really appreciate it. And Karen for the one earlier as well.
Honestly. Okay. Hey, let's be frank. Anybody that associates with a gang at some point in their life, they've done something, whether they've been arrested or not. Okay. So when I tell you they hybrid gangs, people in gangs, it's not a gang because it's all, unicorns and everything else. It's because they do illegal stuff. Simple as that.
And I want to clarify one more time, Sheriff, as far as the gang connection.
Mhm.
Are you saying, or can you tell us if these 3 victims were in this wannabe gang?
I don't have there. All right. I'll clarify it this way. There's information that we're being given that there's a possibility of hybrid gangs, and that's about it. I can't tell you who's associated, what gang's associated with, or anything that.
But your victims were associates in that hybrid gang.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, we're just trying to be clear, Sheriff.
I know. And again, I'm going to go back to the integrity of the case. I'm not going to tell you some things. One, just not going to do it. And 2, we don't know positively. I'm not going to stay here and positively give you an answer to that type of a question without knowing for sure that person was. And I don't know for sure. Does that make sense?
But it could be a possibility, or is that something you guys are
Yes, ma'am.
investigating? Okay.
It's a possibility because it's information that we were given. Everything's a when we get an information, when we get a lead from individuals, it's a possibility, right?
So just to be clear, you guys are investigating potentially that the victims were part of this hybrid gang or whatever you call it.
What we're investigating is their murder, not necessarily what their association is with a gang. It's just we're investigating their murder.
I know you say there are multiple suspects, but are there multiple shooters?
Can't give you that one.
Because you don't know or you can't tell us.
Look at his face. Look at his face. He's like, ha, ha, ha. No, not telling you that either. But I do wonder if it's going to end up being how many people will get arrested. 1 person, 2, 3, 4, how many? Very interesting.
Not going to tell you either way.
So we have a proper characterization, Sheriff. I think hopefully I'm summarizing this accurately, that's why I'm asking it this way. That you're investigating obviously a triple homicide of 3 teenagers who all knew one another and in some form or fashion there was hybrid gang activity that led to their deaths.
That's information that we are being given. Any others?
How can you say, you're saying with confidence, the public is safe and everybody should feel comfortable. How can you reassure people that when no one is behind bars right now?
Oh, yeah. How many times have I come on camera and lied to them?
I guess what would you say to them?
What would I say to them?
Yeah.
That's a difficult one, and that's a good question. But to my citizens, they should know me by now. That I won't come on the camera and give you an assurance of something that I'm not confident in myself. Because we wouldn't be having this conversation if I wasn't.
Is it
Does that
fair
make
to say
sense?
that you said you had 15 detectives working on the case? Is it fair to say you probably also beefed up road patrols in that region of the county?
Yes. I mean, that's just natural of any type of incident, whether it be burglaries, homicides, or robberies. When we have them in a particular area, especially when we have this amount, yes. To answer your question, yes, that happens. And it goes back to the question for her that she asked, is the safety of the community. The community wants to feel safe. So how do you feel safe? They want to see my deputies' vehicles coming through there. They want to know that they can walk out their door and be okay. That's how they feel safe. Andy?
Hi, Sheriff. I watched your video, and that was reassuring to the public. I was out there this morning, talked to a number of residents, and at least one come up and said, "Oh, I heard there was 5 deaths." And one lady said, "Yeah, people are making up their own stories." My phone didn't work out there, and I'm concerned how much access they have to any media. Or you're sending deputies, I think you just answered it, you're sending deputies to rove out there and kind of reassure.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're there.
Yes.
I hear somebody over here.
Thank you, Objection Cake. You say, OMG, so many facial expressions to use for memes. So after this, we'll look at Marsy's Law, map time, and what hybrid gangs are.
I do that all the time. I forget.
Sorry.
Maybe, do you know if any of the victims felt in danger before their passing as well? Did you guys receive that?
Don't know. It's one we don't know.
Are the victims' families cooperating in your investigation?
Yes,
What will be your message to those families today?
we're going to get them. They are going to find them. They're going to put the pieces of the puzzle together, and they will peep. I've got people looking at me right now, but I'm going to do it anyways. Their asses are going to be right over there in that jail.
Damn. Got people looking at me right now, and I'm going to say it anyway. Their asses are going to be in that jail right over there. Nice. Yes?
Is there any suspect description you can release so people at home can help you all identify this person?
Thank you for asking that, but no, not right now.
No suspect vehicle, anything like that?
No. If I had, I would have already given it to you, but thank you for asking, and I appreciate y'all doing. Because here's the thing, and I'm going to reiterate that. When your viewers out here, whatever information you have, please reach out to Crime Stoppers. And it can be anonymous. Is the only way we are able to solve any crime, not just these homicides, is people to give us information. And they are working on every lead that comes in, every lead, whether it be a text, a phone call, or just a simple one-liner, or somebody said, hey, I saw this. They're following up on it. Because not only are victims, but those families have a right to justice. And that's what we're going to accomplish.
People may hate this question, but is there a reason those two families requested Marsy's Law? They just wanted their privacy?
It ranges. A lot of times it has to do with emotion. In a family, when you lose a family member right off the bat, you want to close yourself in. You want to box yourself and your family in because you don't want to be part of it. So to be able to answer it's difficult because we all have had probably a family member that we've lost, and the stages, anger, grief, and you go through that. And that's probably one of the reasons. But to give you an exact answer, I don't know.
Exactly.
All right. Last chance.
Oh.
Thank you for being here again. All right.
Okay, so that was that. And then let's just quickly find that for you. I have another stream after this, you guys. We're going to be looking at what we've learned so far in the Letitia Stout trial, and I'm literally watching it all. So, oh yes, I'm probably going to be streaming the whole trial for the first time in my life. If you're up for that, I'll see you there. Let me quickly show you something, which will be this one, Marsy's Law, just so we all know what it is. And yes, dogs over humans says hybrid gang equals wannabe gang per the sheriff. Exactly. The sheriff said wannabe gang. Okay, so Marsy's Law, I was looking at this today because I'm like, what is it? I like always looking at like the background, what is it? Marsy's Law is named after Marsy and Nicholas, a beautiful, vibrant University of California, Santa Barbara student who was stalked and killed by her ex-boyfriend in 1983. Only 1 week after her murder and on the way home from the funeral service, Marsy's family stopped at a market to pick up a loaf of bread. It was there in the checkout line that Marsy's mother, Marcella, was confronted by her daughter's murderer. Having received no notification from the judicial system, the family had no idea that he had been released on bail mere days after Marsy's murder. The experience of Marsy's family is typical of the pain and suffering family members of murder victims so often endure. Marsy's family was not informed because the courts and law enforcement, though well-meaning, had no obligation to keep them informed, while those accused of crimes have more than 20 individual rights spelled out in the U.S. Constitution. The surviving family members of murder victims have none. The Marsy's Law Initiative began in California and was led and sponsored by Marsy's brother, Dr. Henry T. Nicholas III. When it passed in November 2008, Proposition 9, the California Victims' Bill of Rights Act of 2008, Marsy's Law became the strongest and most comprehensive constitutional victims' rights laws in the U.S. and put California at the forefront of the national victims' rights movement. Said Dr. Nicholas, I'm reading this in case you're wondering, why are we going over all of this? Because now we'll always know it here together. We're almost 2,000 of us here together. If you didn't know what Marsy's Law was before, now you're going to know. Said Dr. Nicholas, after the passage of the initiative, this is a national movement already. There are hundreds of marches across the country for National Crime Victims' Rights Week every year. We need to harness that energy to ensure victims' rights for every American. Marsy's Law was opposed by nearly every major newspaper in California state, and yet the people of California passed the measure with 54% of the vote. The message was clear. Californians wanted crime victims and their families to have guaranteed rights. And I agree with that. Honestly, it would save the families a lot of pain if more families applied Marsy's Law, I think. Let me know what you think. Now, Dr. Nicholas is lending his support to equal crime victims' rights efforts across the United States. Since Marsy's Law passed in California, it has been overwhelmingly approved by voters in Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Kentucky, Nevada, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, and Wisconsin. Currently, efforts are underway in Idaho, Iowa, Maine, Mississippi, New Hampshire, and Tennessee. Now, there's a whole background here about Dr. Henry T. Nicholas. I think it's amazing, right? The founder for Marsy's Law for All. So we've got that. And then quickly, let's do some map time. Okay, hold on. Let's do the map time. I'm going to play this song, okay? Okay, so here we are together, and we are now in this area in Florida. This is Lake Weir High School, which is where I read on Facebook that all the students went. Okay, so this is Marion County, south of Ocala. And now, how do we pronounce the name of this place exactly? Wait. Florida teens. Yeah, map time. Okay, let's just quickly see. It was Oklawaha. Is that correct? Am I saying that right? Okay, so what happened was one girl, and now we don't know the exact order, okay, but I believe it was the 16-year-old girl was found here, Southeast 183rd Avenue Road, next to a dumpster. And then when you go about 5 miles south, 4.3 or so, then the next body was found around, they said, Southeast 188th Court and Southeast 94th Street. So that's there. And then the car was found submerged. Wait for it. Go more south. Here, the car was found submerged. I actually think it was in one of these. I don't think it was Silver Lake. They said near Maluka Loop and Maluka Loop Trace, and it was in some of this water here. No, we're not adding another point. Stop it. Somewhere in here, the car was half submerged in the water there. So if we zoom out, just look at it one more time like this, because I was like, wait, what? So I put the high school there just so that we could see where that is. So let's take the high school off quickly. Okay. And so one 16-year-old girl was found here next to a dumpster. A 17-year-old boy found lying in the road here. So this was on Thursday night, Friday morning, I think it was, and then Saturday, late Saturday here. My goodness, right? Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. Hey, Texas State of Mind is having... I'm so sorry, StreamYard never shows me when it's people's anniversaries. So, sorry, I'm so glad the mods say it, because then I get to see it as well. Happy Grizzly-versary. Okay, let's see what Stella says. Hybrid gang activity is characterized by mixed racial and ethnic participation within a single gang. Okay. All right. So, now you can see 1, 2, 3, which at first, when I looked at it before looking at the second press conference, I'm like, oh my word, could this be a serial killer? Wait. Like, when did this all happen? But once you look at the dates, it seems to have all happened, they were found. One on Thursday, one on Friday, one on Saturday. But maybe it all happened on Thursday night. We're yet to find out more details, but you can at least see where it is. If we zoom out like this, we've spent quite a bit of time in Florida on this channel. I feel like I'm a little bit of a Floridian, you guys. I even do Florida time. My bedtime, everything. It's just aligned to Florida. I think I love Florida. I've been once in my life, Miami. Yes, I like Florida. Okay. But anyway, so we've been there quite a bit. Remember Brian Laundrie and all of that, and so many others. Cassie Carly. Oh man, that case. Wow. So Stefan says the 3 victims were found in 3 different locations. Why is it one incident then? Interesting, right? Very interesting. They can't give us all that information, as they say, but it is interesting. Yes. And how did they get there? Did they, take them for a ride along and then one by one? You know what I mean? Take them out? Did they dare each other or what? So Jill says on Friday morning, authorities said a 17-year-old boy was discovered. Yes. That's what we're talking about. We're on the same page. It was Thursday, late Thursday, the 16-year-old girl. The only name they've released, Layla Silvernail, next to a dumpster. Man, that's so sad. And she was taken to the hospital in critical condition, and then she passed away, and her family donated her organs. And then Friday, the 17-year-old boy was found here lying in the road. And on Saturday, the car belonging to Layla was found half submerged in the water near this Maluka Loop. And it was actually Layla's car, right? Obsessed for Disney says, are you familiar with Florida's politics? You might want to rethink that. Well, I mean, depends where you come from, you know what I mean? But I never really paid too much attention to all the politics. I just love the freaking tropical vibes and all the people, So, yes. Okay. So let's just quickly do this. I just want to go like this, and then we're almost done, because what's the time? Yeah, I'm almost doing the next stream already. It was this one. Go like this. Okay. So, yes, here they say the following. Okay, wait. Lakes. So the first one is Forest Lakes Park. The following morning, responded to that one we looked at, to a 17-year-old male lying beside the road. He was found to be deceased with a gunshot wound. And then on Saturday morning, they found at Maluka Loop. Okay. Layla's vehicle partially submerged at the edge of a nearby body of water. So I really hope that, this lady was also, we were sharing this on Twitter, she was found safe. I really hope that, they are able to make arrests, that whoever did this is held accountable. Let's just see if there's any updates here. I'll just quickly do this. But yes. Okay, they don't have anything new there. So that's pretty much that. Is there anything? There was something I dragged over here. Hold on. It was Marsy's Law. Oh, yeah. It was this. Hybrid gangs. They say, let's be clear, hybrid gangs are not new. The concept has been familiar to cops who police the gang world for quite a few years now. I believe the first time I remember seeing the word hybrid applied to gangs was in the FBI's National Gang Threats Assessment in 2011. Under the sophistication section, that report stated, Gang members are becoming more sophisticated in their structure and operations and are modifying their activity to minimize law enforcement scrutiny and circumvent gang enhancement laws. Gangs in several jurisdictions have modified or ceased traditional stereotypical gang indicia and no longer display their colors, tattoos, or hand signs. Others are forming hybrid gangs to avoid police attention and to make it more difficult for law enforcement to identify and monitor them. So that's what they say there. I quickly want to show you one other thing, which this is now a different case. So hold on. So that is all the updates for that case. I will let you know if they make an arrest or what's happening. So make sure that you are subscribed with the bell on, because it might be a YouTube short, it might be a community post, it might be a video, it could be a live stream. We'll see what they say, right? Now, in the Delphi case, if you haven't followed anything in the Delphi case, then just check out my playlist on that. But my goodness, look at the state of this man, Richard Allen. Look at him. He's not doing well. He's not doing well. So, yeah, people are getting concerned that they're not treating him, with his human rights in mind. He's not even convicted yet. I mean, he's a suspect. So it's pretty scary to see him like this. So just wanted to show you that. So you see it here because it's just come out now. So there's that. And then it says, gee, you should go to Key West. Florida has many nice places. I'm sure one day I'm going to go. The horse capital. Okay. Well, thank you so much all for being here for this stream. I'm sending love. I'm sure we all are. Love, condolences to those 3 teenagers, to their family, to their friends. I think it's great that they applied Marsy's law, Maybe also one thought I had was, if it is in some way gang related, maybe the families are also protecting other siblings or themselves or whatever. If it is something like that, to not release the names, could be that. So thank you so much. I'm going to see you guys in the next stream. I've set it now. This stream should lead you there. And that is going to be a little bit of a recap. I've made notes. I can't remember who sent me this notebook. But when I saw it at a PO box, I got this one that says Workplace Slay. And I've been making lots of notes on the Letitia Stauch trial. And I find that while generally I'm quite busy, meaning like I can't sit still for long, I'm glued to this trial. Some people find it really boring. I'm kind of glued to it, but it's because, I suppose I put in so much work into this case. I feel pretty close to the case as well, and I just cannot believe the stuff that Letitia Stauch says. So I will see you there for that. Okay. That's going to be happening in the next 12 minutes. And then we might even do like a member stream after that, just quickly, we'll see how it goes today. We'll do a member stream soon because I want to get snarky. We need to get snarky just a little bit. And my word, that opening statements. Oh my word. So thank you to all of you who sent PayPals. You know who you are. And you were like, please snark it up. Snark it up on a member stream soon. I'm like, we'll do that. Okay. So thank you so much. Please like this video and share it as well. I don't know exactly what hashtags to use for this one. Most are saying hashtag Florida teens, things like that. So you could use hashtag Grizzly True Crime so people can find it here. All right. So thank you so much and stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one, which is in 10 minutes from now. Okay, bye.